Hey, my name is Jared Moon, and I'm part of a group of underground athletes you've probably never even heard of before. We don't rely on fancy equipment for training, and most of us don't even have gym memberships. In fact, our motivation comes from within. You see, we have jobs, families, and responsibilities, but we still have big goals, and they aren't getting achieved at a global gym. For that reason, we have to do things differently. Our training has to be smarter. We don't have every piece of equipment known to man or a ton of time to train, and we don't need it, because we are achieving amazing things without it. So how do we do it? If you ask your average personal trainer or gym goer, they'd call us crazy. Yet we're seeing results better than most every single day. And it's happening by blending mental training with physical training and becoming an athlete. What we call, and welcome to, Garage Gym Athlete.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jared Moon here. Welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. We have Joe with us. What's up, Joe?
Good morning.
And with us today is Lida Johnson. How's it going?
It's going great this morning.
Yeah, we are glad to have you here. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to hop into everything, but to get started, let's just get an introduction. So, who you are, what you do for a living, how you train, all that stuff.
Great. Well, thank you for allowing me to share a little bit about my story. I live in Firestone, Colorado, which is about 40 minutes north of Denver. And I am a project manager looking for a new opportunity as I've been unemployed recently. So I've had a lot of time to train, but looking for a new opportunity. I'm an active 57-year-old woman, if you can't tell from my voice and name. And I train up to 2 times a day, usually a garage gym session. And then I am very active in Lifetime Fitness, where I swim. I'm part of the Masters Swim Club, the Bike Club, and the Run Club. So that's a very quick introduction of who I am and kind of how I train. I do a lot of a variety of things. So, yeah.
So how do you break up those training sessions?
Like Master Swim, which is what I did this morning as an example. It's at 5:30 in the morning, so that's easy. I get up at 4:30 and I'm out the door by 5 to be in the water by 5:30. And then I do, like today, I'll do the combat session in the afternoon. But typically I do a morning workout and then an afternoon workout because I do run, like with the Run Club, I do track sessions. They're Thursday nights. So most of my group activities are in the evenings, and then I will train on my own in the morning or mid-afternoon to give myself some recovery time.
Okay, and is all the training happening at like combat? Are you going to be doing that at Lifetime?
No, I do all of that at home.
Okay.
Which
pretty much more of the group and like harder stuff to do, like a pool, those kind of things, those happen at Lifetime. And then your training that you do with us is in the garage.
Yep. It's in the basement, but I like the motivation of other people as well as being alone. I like both environments.
Yeah, I can fully understand that. I think sometimes it's good to be a part of both. I think I'm getting more into cycling right now, and the cycling, the bike shop that I go to get tune-ups and all that other stuff, they keep directing me to the Lifetime Fitness cycling club. They want me to go be a part of it and start doing some rides with them and everything. And I definitely understand the benefit of doing something like that. Yeah.
And Lifetime, I mean, I'm not trying to promote Lifetime, but they do benefit all levels. And I would put myself in that 14 to 16 mile an hour category. But I also am very fortunate that we have a velodrome, and that's an outdoor cycling track. That's 15 minutes from my house. So I have a fixed gear track bike that I ride on the velodrome as well, which is just kick-ass fun. Scary.
That's
It's a
awesome.
tough one.
That sounds cool. Yeah, they're all a little bit different. And the reason I have any familiarity with Lifetime is I was actually an employee there for about 6 years. Through high school and college, I worked at a Lifetime Fitness, and I really enjoyed it. It was good fun, and you know, they really do have everything. I always joke that you can't knock a steam room or a sauna. Like,
Yeah.
they're just too awesome. You know.
Yeah. And we have a hot tub here at the
Yeah.
house. So
Even
that's
better.
actually even better.
That's great. Okay, so you're in Colorado. What's the weather like? Temperament for? I guess you're in the basement. So is that the reason being? Like, how cold are we talking where you're located specifically in the winter times?
So where I live in Firestone, it's on the east side of the mountains. So the mountains will get a lot of snow. Like this year, I mean, they had 150% of the snow. It was like a record snowfall this year. But as you get further east, we didn't have a lot of snow in our town.
Okay.
So it got cold. I think I shoveled twice, actually. But the reason for my setup being in the basement is not because of the weather, but because of all the cars that we own.
There you go.
My husband owns a Corvette, and that takes priority over a gym.
Ah, nice. Yeah. Can't leave that thing outside.
No.
That's great. So, how long have you had the basement gym?
So I joined probably with Garage Gym, I don't even know, maybe over a year ago. I've been a little inconsistent, but I've been accumulating equipment over the years because whatever I did, whether I worked out at Lifetime or I did go to CrossFit, I always did auxiliary work at home. So I would always do things like wall balls because I suck, or I was working on pull-ups, and I always had some equipment at home to offset what was going on in the outside of my home.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that makes sense. I think everybody needs something, you know, like even if it's just a band or a kettlebell, like even if you have a gym membership, I think it's good to have something at home for Christmas, you know, holidays or whatever, you know, to be able to still get some work done.
yeah, I've had bands forever because of flexibility issues, and then about 3 years ago, or 4 years now, I bought myself a rower for my birthday. Actually, I had asked for my birthday for my husband to buy it, but he didn't buy it. So the day after my birthday, I'm like, "Can I go buy the rower now?" And he said, "Okay." So the rower lives in our living room, actually. So it's not even in the basement.
So you can
That's
watch
awesome.
TV.
Yeah.
What's that?
A TV row?
Yeah.
Well, that's my husband's style. You know, he's a late night person, so I'll hear the rower start at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And he'll be rowing, and I'm like, I've gone to bed by 9. So it's like we run different cycles, but yeah.
Got it. And so what are some of your goals right now you're working towards in training?
So every year I put together a set of goals that I put on the whiteboard that's down in the basement, and it usually comprises a strength component. So like I have a back squat goal and a deadlift goal. This year I've incorporated some gymnastics types goals where I want to do L sits, and I really wanted to do pike handstands and sit-ups and just work on some more mobility. And then I also have, I'll call my bucket list event goals. And I just accomplished a huge one for me, which was this past weekend, I did Ragnar Snowmass Trail Run.
That's cool.
So yeah, that was, I was so happy just because it was a huge hurdle for me. 3 years ago, I had a total knee replacement.
Wow.
So I have not been running for almost 4 or 5 years. So I was terrified to really kind of run beyond 3 miles. I didn't think that I would be able to do it because I'd had a lot of joint pain and a total knee replacement. But with a change of diet and some other things, I have no joint pain, and I ran pain-free, which was like the first time in, like 10 years probably.
And what were some of those diet changes you made to alleviate the pain?
Eliminated sugar and dairy and processed foods. So it's somewhere between paleo and keto. My husband's strictly following keto because he's got diabetes, but that doesn't really work for me. I need a little more carbs, especially on days where I'm doing multiple activities or I'm in the water for an hour and a half swimming. I need something else. So, but we just cleaned it up and got rid of all that sugar. And I'm making a lot of my condiments now. Like I'm making my own ketchups and my own salad dressings and things to get rid of that sugar because it's everywhere and in everything.
Yeah, that's my wife actually does a lot of that. Our own salad dressing. She will make ketchup sometimes and all that kind of stuff. I actually think it's better. It's better when you do it yourself. If you know what you're doing. I think if I were to do it, I might mess it up. I think Joe would probably be pretty good at it. He's pretty good at cooking. Joe, you ever experimented with that?
I make my own mayo sometimes, but unless you use it fast enough, it'll go bad. So I haven't really dove into the sauces, but I do spend like a good 10 minutes sometimes at the grocery store just searching for a barbecue sauce that doesn't use brown sugar. And there's a few brands that we kind of keep going back to for like those and salsas, but we're not really ketchup people. So yeah, I've never really cared to do the sauce thing, but you can find some stuff. I do a lot of cooking and homemade stuff, but sauces I haven't really done yet.
Haven't gotten there yet. Well, tell me more about this event. A little bit more specifics about it. I want to hear what the event was specifically, especially for anybody who might not know, and just tell me about your performance during.
Sure. So Ragnar puts on a series of endurance running events, and they range from, and they're all over the country, and they can be a point A to a point B race. So you might cover 160 or 200 miles from point A to point B, or they have events like what we did, which was in Snowmass Village, Colorado, near Aspen. And that it was a series of loops. So each person had to do 3 loops. And I was the team captain, so I recruited 7 of my friends. So they're teams of 8, or they were teams of 4 if you want to do ultras. So we did, our longest run was almost 7 miles with 1,700 foot of elevation gain. And we started at about 9,000 feet.
Wow, that's a high start.
Where do you live at now? I mean, being close to Denver.
About 5,275 feet is where I'm starting at.
Okay. So a little bit.
So we would alternate. The loops were colored, so they were red, yellow, or green, yellow, red. And we would rotate through the 8 people. And each person would take, a green and a yellow and a red loop. We started at 9:30 in the morning on Friday, and we finished at about 1:45 p.m. on Saturday. So each person ran probably 1 loop in the dark, which I have decided that I'm going to do every run in the dark if I can. It is so cool. It's so awesome. I wore a headlamp, and then I had a headlamp in my hand.
Okay, yeah.
To shine on the path. And it was exhilarating, kind of scary, but you can kind of see other headlights in the distance, so you kind of knew where you were going. But it was just so exciting for me, actually. I'm like, I have to do this like more often. It was really cool.
I think it's a mental side of it too, because it's sometimes when you run, if you're looking like way far away, it's like, oh man, that is so far away and it's not getting any closer. But in the dark, nothing's far away. Well, and you can't see the hill. So when I ran in the dark, I was on this yellow loop, and it was known for mud. And they didn't want you to walk around the mud because they don't want you to destroy the path. So you had to kind of go through it. And you could see who had just finished the yellow run because they were just covered in mud. But it was just fun to just do something completely different and be stomping around in the mud. I think I was done at
1 a.m., 2 a.m. It's just really cool.
Did you
That's
guys
awesome.
camp out? Because I think I see they do that for the Ragnars.
I would highly recommend glamping. It was so
Yeah.
awesome. We showed up, we had a center tent, and then we had 4 little tents off the center, and we each had cots. So you show up, you bring your food and you bring your clothes, everything's set up. And the best part was walking away. You're done.
That's
You just
awesome.
pack up your clothes. And, you know, I had just previously been camping about 2 weeks ago with my husband, and it poured rain. And we shoved our tent in the back of the car, didn't even pack it up. We're like, we're done. We've been in the rain for 3 days. Let's go eat breakfast. And with the glamping, you just walk away and it just mysteriously gets put away. It's awesome.
That's really cool.
Because I don't even own a tent, and that would probably be a challenge in itself.
That's great. Well, a question I have, I want to know what keeps you motivated, because I think a lot of people, if they're facing a full knee replacement, they might be like, you know what, it's time to take it easy. But you had the full knee replacement, still training twice a day, pushing yourself to levels beyond of most people do with this Ragnar race, and still highly motivated. So what keeps you going?
You know, it sounds kind of corny, but it's just life. I love life. I love getting up. I love being engaged, and doing things with my friends is really so inspirational and motivating. You know, I would say I'm more of an inspirer than I am a performer, meaning I'm not the top. You know, I'm not finishing and I'm not winning anything. And if anything, I'm probably in the bottom 30% of where, you know, of the race. But that's never bothered me. It's always just the sheer joy of going out and inspiring others and encouraging others. And I will frequently actually go slower to be with somebody and support them. And my friends will say, you're the only one I know that can do a race and make a friend. I will, you know, sweep up. And I can't tell you how many times I've picked up my friends. Like, I've done a few Ironmans actually as well. And I've picked them up at the end, you know, and it's like, my friends are like, well, you're always, you know, saving people. And I'm like, well, that's because I'm always way in the back. So I'm sweeping everybody up and having a great time.
That's really cool.
Doing it.
That's awesome. Now, if you had to pick between training with a group at Lifetime or in your basement alone, which one is higher on your list? And I don't take me into account. Just
rocking a hard place.
Yeah. I want to know which one you like better. No judgment. I'm just curious.
What I would say is that I cannot skip a group workout.
Okay.
So if I'm committed to meeting my friends for a run, that will get done.
Yeah, that accountability.
To go downstairs and do combat, I would maybe talk myself out of that one.
Yeah, I completely understand. Accountability goes a long way. I think even getting a partner within Garage Gym Athlete, like Joe and I haven't been doing it as much now because we're on different tracks, but just sharing like, hey, how did you do in combat today? You know, that stuff has always kept me going, knowing that Joe's going to tell me his score and I'm going to have to tell him my score, so on and so forth. That accountability piece is big, no matter how you split it. So that's cool.
Oops, sorry. Can you hear that phone in the background?
Yeah.
We're fine. All right, we're good to go. So I got that one done. Now we'll get to some of these fun questions. What is the hardest workout you have ever done? What?
Probably been a lot of them that have totally sucked. So there's been a number of them that have been pretty awful. I have to admit, Murph was probably my hardest one. And it was kind of funny because I did that in CrossFit and the coach actually told me to just stop.
Okay, you're done. Like, just
You're
be done.
But the hardest one I actually did was in preparation for an Ironman.
Okay.
I had to run 9 miles, bike 80, and then run 5 more miles after that. And it was like 90 degrees, and I really thought I was just going to die. I didn't think I was going to make it.
And that was just a training ride / run. That wasn't even the actual event.
No, but the events are always easier. So
Yeah, that's a significant training ride there, like 80-mile training ride with some running tech on the front and back. That's awesome. That's really incredible. So was that in preparation for a full Ironman?
yes.
Okay. So I missed that somewhere. So when did the when did the full Ironman happen? I have to hear about that. You've done 7?
Holy crap.
That's incredible. Okay. We gotta, I'm glad that we're digging a little bit deeper here. So tell me about these 7 Ironman. So I'm guessing that's been a big part of your training history.
Yeah. So I did my first one at 40, and I think I'm going to do my last one at 60.
Okay.
And so that means I've done, I did a couple like every year or twice a year. Recently, because of my knee, I have not done one, but yeah, it just sort of happened by accident, actually, that I started it. I needed to get in the pool to swim because I was having some knee problems. And this was way back in 2002, which was my first one. So I started swimming and found out that I was a great long distance swimmer. I never really slow down. I have a very strong, consistent pace. So I started swimming and found out that I really liked it. And I had always loved bicycling. I've ridden since I was 18, and I had done some endurance bike rides. Like I'd done a couple double centuries. So that was 200 miles in a day.
That's crazy.
And I've done about 6 or 7 of those. So that was the easy part. And then I said, well, why not? Why not just go for it? I was 40. I was looking for something new to do. And I just went for it. And I loved the community, created great friendships and relationships. And it just became part of who I was until injuries started happening. And I got through a couple Ironmans with injuries through visualization, actually. Yeah, so now I'm starting to research one to do in a couple of years, and I think that'll be the end.
That's awesome. That's really, really incredible. Now, tell me a little bit more about this visualization through injury.
So for example, I was doing Ironman Coeur d'Alene, and I was having knee injuries or knee problems, and that was in 2008. And interestingly enough, that was the year I also got involved in CrossFit, because a CrossFit owner came to our triathlon club, and we basically did Tabatas. And I was so sore the next day. And anyhow, I knew I wanted to get in CrossFit, and I will get to the visualization part. And we battled back and forth because he was saying, well, CrossFit can save your Ironman. And I was like, no, it can't. I mean, I can't do a 10-minute WOD and think I can go out for 14 hours. Like,
Right.
translating
Yeah.
in my head. So I decided to do some visualization. And what I visualized was the end time for my swim. So I had visualized an hour and 18 minutes, and that's exactly when I came in. And I visualized myself smiling. And then I just went through the bike. I didn't have any visualization for the bike because I kind of knew what that would be. And then I visualized myself on the run. I just pictured myself smiling and waving to people and enjoying the experience, because I knew I couldn't run. And I have to say, I ran a lot of it. It might have been slow, but it was the best run I had ever had, because I was so happy in the process for just being out there, for being thankful that I could move, right? to me, I could have not even been able to walk. I mean, I should be blessed that I could walk. And I was thankful for that. And I pictured myself smiling and getting through it. And it was one of my favorite races from the perspective of how I felt, not necessarily my performance, because that race, I think I came in at, I don't even know, 15 hours or something, 15 hours and 20 minutes, which you have a 17-hour cutoff.
Yeah.
So you have to complete in 17 hours.
Well, that's
So visualization totally saved myself on the run.
yeah, that's really cool. I mean, we just talked about that in a recent podcast, Joe and I, on some of the science and research coming out on visualization and how it's helping performance. And it's really cool to hear someone using it in such a, because normally they're like, yeah, they're visualizing muscle contractions of like, a seated leg press or something like that, not an Ironman. So that's cool to hear about it from your perspective. All right. Now, in your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
I would say for me, it's staying present. It's staying in the moment. Because that will allow you to persevere and to give up. So to me, I think mental toughness, maybe because I'm easily distracted and have a little bit of ADD maybe, but it's remaining present, not only in the workout that I do, but I'm trying to include it in everything I do in life. My conversations with my husband are trying to, be with him and be present, right? And that's tough to do for me. So I build mental toughness through trying to remain 100% present in whatever it is I'm doing.
And if you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's not an easy answer for me. I would say the barbell for the gym and my bike for life.
Okay. Yeah.
If you could add something to your basement gym or gym space in general, what would it be?
It would be an air dying bike. Those things suck.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. That's
top of my list.
Yeah. Rogue Echo. Way to go.
Yeah.
All right. Now, there are a lot of garage gym athletes out there listening to this. What would your best advice for them be?
To show up, to put your workout clothes on and show up.
I love it.
Yeah, because it gets better once you've shown up. That's the hard part.
Yeah, after you never really feel bad after a workout or regret it. You're never like, oh man, wish I didn't work out.
No, I feel bad after a workout.
You
I don't regret
feel
it.
Temporarily bad, yeah, but you don't normally regret having trained.
Right.
Combat, there was a slight.
All right. Well, Lida, it's been awesome having you on the podcast. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. It was great getting to know more about your story and all your accomplishments. I really appreciate you being on the podcast and for being a garage gym athlete.
Great. Thank you very much.